Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here, and in today's video I want to talk about grenades. Now you might be saying, what the hell are you talking about? Why you want to talk about grenades? Okay, so grenades in Battlefield. With the Battlefield 1 release, grenades were largely changed in the way that they function. So they didn't function anymore like they did in Battlefield 4, and I'll explain how they function in both games, and also the resupply mechanics for each of the titles varied a lot. In the beginning of Battlefield 1, there was a lot of grenade spam. It was quite a problem. Explosives were flying all over the place. You could pretty much throw grenades back to back if you were resupplying with the small ammo pouch. It was really quick, and it made the game very annoying very quickly. And okay, I'm not only going to talk about grenades, but generally just explosives. So, you know, AT grenades and stuff like that, or AT rocket guns, or limpet charges, or whatever explosive it may be. But mostly going to focus on grenades because I think that that's the major downfall maybe of Battlefield 1, especially for certain maps, certain choke point intensive maps like Fort Devoe, where gunplay isn't there at all. Basically, you just want to get lucky with those explosives, and you're probably going to be at the top of the scoreboard. And it just makes for very uninteresting gameplay, in my opinion. I think that a first-person shooter should be based on the gunplay and not as much as just chucking explosives all over the goddamn place, hoping to get kills. Okay, so let's get into the function of grenades. So in Battlefield 4, how it worked, basically you would take your grenade out. You could actually take the grenade out before throwing it. It wasn't an action that was you had to throw the grenade. You could actually, it was an equipable and bindable key, so you could take out your grenade and like peek a corner and chuck it, instead of like peeking a corner and pressing the throw grenade button at the same time, hoping you chuck it before you go back around the corner, which makes it a little bit less tactical right there. And in Battlefield 4, how it worked, basically there was a timer as soon as you stopped holding the grenade. As soon as you throw the grenade, so you'd let go of the handle of the grenade, the timer would start. So there's a fuse that would start for, let's say, 4 seconds. I believe for the standard grenade in Battlefield 4, it was 4 seconds. So from the time that it left your hand, there was 4 seconds before it blew up. So you could calculate, so okay, I have to throw it this high for it to blow up on impact of the ground or close to the ground. Or you could actually just force players out of cover, because if you wanted to force a player out of a piece of cover, you would throw a grenade, and then it would sit there for like whatever remainder seconds it had before it blew up, and then that player would be forced to move to other cover, or like give away its position and move, or die to that grenade, which was great. Grenades were used a little bit more tactically, and it did take quite a while to get more grenades from ammo crates. So the amount of time that you had to sit next to an ammo crate in Battlefield 4 to get a grenade resupply was 25 seconds. Now, maybe it varied a little bit depending on which type of grenade you used, if it was a non-lethal grenade or if it was a lethal grenade. And also, same thing applied for explosives, so like RPGs and stuff like that. It would take quite a bit of time to actually resupply those explosive devices or grenades. So in Battlefield 1, grenades don't really function the same way as they do in Battlefield 4. Now in Battlefield 1, it is basically every grenade functions as an impact grenade. So the moment that the grenade hits a horizontal surface, the timer for that grenade's fuse then starts. So basically you have like an artillery shell at your hands, because you can throw grenades quite far in Battlefield 1, and I mean it won't blow up in the air. It has to impact the ground first. So from the moment that it impacts a horizontal surface, then it takes whatever amount of time. So all the different grenades have different explosion times after they hit a horizontal surface. For like example, the standard grenade, I think it's like 2 seconds or something like that. So it's very minimal compared to like a little bit more tactical use of grenades from Battlefield 4. It's very, very different, and it's a little bit more unrealistic. Typically speaking, hand grenades don't act like impact grenades. There are hand grenades that are specifically made to be an impact grenade, like the impact grenade in Battlefield 1, the RGO impact in Battlefield 4. As soon as that hits the surface, it blows up. But in Battlefield 1, they just all function like this, just with different timers after hitting a horizontal surface. So this makes it so that, one, you have a lot less time to react to grenades, because, for example, there's a lot of stuff happening around you. It takes you maybe half a second to actually notice that there's a grenade there. Then by the time you start moving away, that grenade's probably going to have exploded, and probably be the end of you. They did tweak this a little bit as far as grenade timers go, and they did increase the amount of time that it took before the grenade blew up after hitting that horizontal surface, but it's a very different way of functioning, and it actually kind of promotes that grenade spam that we were talking about, because you know that the grenade, as soon as it hits that surface, about a couple seconds later the person is going to be either dead or moving away, and it just makes it a little bit easier to get kills with grenades, which for me, for a first-person shooter, I'd rather people get kills with guns and weapons as opposed to grenades and explosives, but that's just my opinion. And also the grenade resupplies. So in Battlefield 1 at the beginning, as I said, you could pretty much get grenade after grenade after grenade, just chuck those things left, right, and center and get a ton of kills with them. Same thing for explosives. Then after they did the ammo 2.0, they tweaked the grenades, and they kept tweaking the grenades as the game progressed in its lifespan. Now how the grenades function is there's a timer for that grenade to resupply, and it still rolls even though you're not next to an ammo crate or ammo pouch. But if you are next to an ammo crate or an ammo pouch, that grenade resupply timer is then faster. So it's like, it's actually quite fast if you stand next to an ammo crate, and even if you don't stand to an ammo crate, this is what I don't like. It's the kind of like passive resupply of the grenade, because there's a timer that's going off as soon as you throw a grenade, and there's a different time for all the different grenades, and I'll pull it up right here on screen. So as you can see on screen right now, for the lethal grenades, I just put those because they're like the most important, because obviously they're the ones you can get kills with. So basically minis 28 seconds, gas 35 seconds, light AT 42, frag, impact, and incendiary 49 seconds. So what this means is, as soon as you throw, for example, an incendiary grenade, you're going to have a 49-second timer that's going to start, and after 49 seconds, if you happen to pass by an ammo crate, the grenade will poof, instantly resupply in your inventory. And this promotes grenade spam, because you don't even have to think about it. You're going to get a new grenade as soon as you pass by an ammo crate, and on top of that, if you're actually just sitting on top of an ammo crate, it's going to speed up the resupply time of those said grenades by 3.5 times. So if you're using the grenades that take a longer time to resupply passively, it's going to resupply within 14 seconds, and that's a pretty quick time to get a new grenade if you're just sitting on top of an ammo crate, not to count all the other explosives that'll be happening around that time. So limpet charges, dynamite, anti-tank grenades, and AT rocket guns, and all these different explosives that you can have, rifle grenades. It's pretty crazy the amount of explosives that are in Battlefield as a whole, but Battlefield 1, it seems to be a little bit like more intense, and I don't know, I just don't like the way that hand grenades function in Battlefield 1. I don't think there should be a passive timer. I felt that in Battlefield 4 you really had to think of how you were going to use your grenade, because you probably weren't going to get another one until you died, unless you sat on an ammo crate for 25 seconds in order to get that hand grenade refilled. And I think it was fine that way. It promoted gunplay a lot more than, you know, just sitting on an ammo crate waiting for those grenades to resupply in order to try and lob them around the map and try and get those kills from God knows where, grenade falls on your head and stuff like that. To me, it's just not as fun. Now, as I said earlier, I do know they did a lot of tweaking to grenades in Battlefield 1, and I mean, it's better than it was, but it's still not perfect, and it's still not the ideal solution, in my opinion, to have passively resupplying grenades, and just the general way that grenades function in Battlefield 1. It's just not as realistic as I would have hoped, and it just promotes trying to get those random grenades off in order to kill people, as opposed to actually getting those grenades to push them out of cover and then shoot them with your weapons. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of this. I don't mean to be ranting in this video. If it came off that way, I apologize. It's just some constructive criticism in hopes that they maybe rethink the way that they implement grenades in Battlefield 2018, and maybe look over the amount of explosives that are used and how people are playing the game, and how they maybe want to play the game, maybe focus a little bit more on gunplay. And while you're down there, be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.